A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Defeated political forces are stirring racial tensions to suppress investigations into fraud and corruption. A statement from the president.
කිසිවෙක් යලි අපේ රටේ ජාතිවාදය මත දේශපාලනය කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා නම් තිබෙන නීති ප්‍රමාණවත් නැත්නම් අලුත් නීති හදලා ජාතිවාදී තිබෙන්නේ.
Assets of 88 suspects allegedly involved in organized crime and financial fraud frozen. Who will come out on top at the Colombo Municipal Council?
ඔය ඉතින් මේ අර හරියට නිකන් දොඩම් ගෙඩි ගොඩක් බදාගෙන යනවා වගේ වැඩක්. ඉතින් අන්තිම මොහොත වෙනකන් එකක් හරි හැලෙන්නේ නැතුව ගෙනියන්න ඕන.
හෙට උදේ 9:00 මාර්ගදී බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් කවුද නගරාධිපතිනි කියලා. ඉතින් අපේ ඒ ස්ථිර තත්ත්වය තවත් ශක්තිමත් වෙලා තවත් ෆිගර්ස් ගන්න එහාට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා.
Iran-Israel conflict escalates. Sri Lankan woman in Israel injured. Imesh Sandeepa wins the Voice Sri Lanka Season 3. Coach Supun sets an international record.
And now the stories in detail. President Andrakumara has stated that politicians who are under pressure due to the government's war on corruption are trying to distract attention by stirring the forces of racial politics once more, and vowed that he would never allow this to happen in Sri Lanka again. The president was speaking at a meeting organized by Sri Lankans living in Germany. Sri Lankan businessmen, investors and professionals participated in the meeting, where the president received a warm welcome.
This meeting was organized by Sri Lankans living in Germany. Sri Lankan businessmen, investors and professionals participated in the meeting, where the president received a warm welcome.
මේ රාජ්‍යදී පිරිසුදු කිරීමේ සටන පටන් ගන්න ඕන.
It's time to begin the battle to clean the state sector. We have already taken on that challenge. The Criminal Investigation Department, the police and the Bribery Commission must conduct investigations. What should be done after the investigations? Facts must be reported to the magistrate's court. Facts have been reported to the magistrate court regarding a large number of investigations that are ongoing across Sri Lanka. Based on those findings, indictments can be filed in the High Court. Who then has the power to prosecute and punish? The court. Now the investigation into Keheliyarambu is coming to an end. The indictments will be handed over very soon. Mervyn Silva's investigation is almost wrapped up. I saw facts had been reported. The indictment should be handed over very soon. Namal has already received an indictment related to the Krish transaction, and Yoshita has been indicted as well. I feel sorry for their grandmother, but what can we do? They have got her involved in this as well. Since she's also a part of it, we've handed over indictments to her as well. What happens next is that the case moves to court. Lawyers from the Attorney General's Department and the Bribery Commission will present their case, while the defense lawyers will speak up for the accused. The court will make the final decision. Therefore, I believe we are upholding the trust that the voters have placed in us and carrying out the duties that they have entrusted to us.
The president pointed out that whenever action is taken against fraud and corruption, some groups try to shield themselves by resorting to stirring racial tensions.
For
the first time in Sri Lanka, the people in the north are placing their trust in a new government. This is an important milestone. So what should be our expectation? It shouldn't be to push the people who place their trust in us away. But what has become the goal of the political forces in the country that were defeated? They are resorting to their old political tactics of stirring racial tensions. During my visit to Germany, I saw people saying that I came to Germany to meet an LTTE leader. Is there someone like that in Germany? This is nothing else but the same old failed racist politics again. This sort of politics cannot be allowed again. If anyone tries to bring racism back into politics, and if the existing laws aren't enough, then new laws will be enforced to prevent its return. Do not use racism to gain or maintain power. We are very strict on that matter. Therefore, we will not allow racist politics in our country. We have clearly understood that this is the place where politics against us is likely to resurface, fueled by stirring up racism.
අපිට එරෙහිව දේශපාලනය මතුවෙන්න ඉඩ තියෙන තැන ජාතිවාදය උස්සීම.
The president said that all corrupt political parties are coming together and forming a common front to suppress the investigations into corruption and fraud.
එකිනෙකාට එරෙහිව සතුරු කඳවුරු වල හිටපු ප්‍රතිගාමීන්
Political adversaries have now come together. Just look at how this new coalition is being formed. Take the Kuliyapitiya Pradesh Sabha as an example. We had 21 seats. The SLPP had only 6 seats. Yet, who is the chairman of the council? Someone from the SLPP. How did that happen? We have 21 and they have 6. Who supported them to secure that position? It was the SJB, the UNP, and the People's Alliance. They're aligning with each other to build a front against us. This is perhaps the first time in Sri Lankan history that such a sharply defined political alignment has emerged. You must have seen the recent media briefing. Visatan from the SJB, SLPP General Secretary, Talata from the UNP. All of them were sitting together. The UNP and Pohottua now joining forces. Today they face a common challenge. This sudden merger is an attempt to cover up their past fraud, corruption and crimes. It doesn't matter whether the perpetrators are in the SLPP or the SJB. If crimes were committed, investigations have already been launched and they know this. So what are they doing? They are rising up to defeat this process by setting aside all animosities. Politically speaking, a coalition between Sajith Premadasa and Namal Rajapaksa may harm both of them individually, but they seem to believe that being divided will hurt them even more. So they are joining hands. How can there be two presidential candidates from one alliance? If they are coming together, they must agree on one. This is about personal survival. Despite all of that, let's be clear, no matter what they do, the mandate given to the National People's Power will not be compromised. We will ensure that investigations against corruption and fraud will proceed no matter who is involved. We are fully committed to the trust placed in us by the people. This is our last opportunity to rebuild this country.
මේක තමයි අපේ රට ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා තිබෙන අවස්ථාව.
President Andrakumara Dissanayaka returned to the island this morning, concluding his official visit to Germany.
Authorities have frozen assets of 88 people suspected to be involved in organized crime and financial fraud.
According to police, 26 of the 88 suspects whose assets were frozen are suspects linked to organized crime and drug-related offences. The remaining suspects whose assets were frozen are under investigation for alleged offences under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Sri Lanka police said that frozen assets include land, houses, bank accounts, vehicles, gold jewellery, business premises and paddy fields. Several properties belonging to the wife of notorious drug trafficker Jaisingh Arachke Hemanta, also known as Batalahin Mahathya, were also frozen under a court order. The frozen assets include a building with 2 rooms near the Middenia police station, valued at 15 million rupees. These assets were frozen based on court orders issued under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Previously, 2 other high-value properties registered under Batalahin Mahathya's wife's name, allegedly acquired using illicit funds, were also frozen by court order. These include a pharmacy located opposite the Ambalipiti Hospital, valued at approximately 30 million rupees, and a hotel located near Chandrika Vavar in Ambalipitiya.
The committee appointed to investigate allegations of misuse of authority by Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Thennakoon is scheduled to reconvene tomorrow. IGP Thennakoon is expected to appear before the committee at 9:30 a.m. The committee, chaired by Supreme Court Justice Preeti Padman Surasena, is expected to meet daily starting tomorrow as inquiry proceeds. The inaugural session of the Colombo Municipal Council will be held tomorrow. It will be presided over by Municipal Commissioner Palitha Nanayakara.
The inaugural session of the Colombo Municipal Council will begin at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. The mayor of the Colombo Municipal Council will be elected during the session. In this year's local government election, the National People's Power secured the highest number of seats with 48 seats in the Colombo Municipal Council. Samagi Jana Balawegya came in second with 29 seats, which is 19 seats less than the National People's Power. The United National Party secured 13 seats. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna secured 5 seats, while the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress secured 4 seats. Independent Group number 3 secured 3 seats, while Independent Groups 4 and 5 secured 2 seats each. The mayoral candidate of the National People's Power for the Colombo Municipal Council is Roy Kelly Balthasar. Riza Zaruk is the mayoral candidate for the Samagi Jana Balawegya. To secure control of the Colombo Municipal Council, a party must secure at least 59 out of the 117 council seats. Accordingly, the National People's Power should receive the support of 11 members. Samagi Jana Balawegya needs to obtain the support of 30 members. Samagi Jana Balawegya MP Harshana Rajakaruna expresses confidence in securing victory in CMC.
We are confident that we have a clear majority in the Colombo Municipal Council, and we sincerely hope and pray for a successful outcome in securing its leadership.
According to Samagi Jana Balawegya MP SM Marikar, securing power in the Colombo Municipal Council is like holding on to a bag of oranges.
If the discussions held by those who participate turns out to be successful, we will win tomorrow. It's like putting together a chain. Each one needs to put one. But now I see on the media that different people are saying different things at different times. One thing at night, another in the morning. So it's similar to a situation where you are holding on to a bunch of oranges. You have to carry it without dropping a single one until the last moment. This is a country where members of the council are united until they enter the council, and then they vote for the other side. We have 29. We need 30 more. These 30 members need to be brought from a number of different parties and independent groups. You can add it and see. 29 plus the 19 from the UNP. That adds up to 42. If 5 more seats are secured from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, that will be 47. If the 4 seats of the Muslim Congress are secured, it will be 51. If the seat from the People's Alliance is secured, it will be 52. We need 7 more members from the other independent groups. So this Colombo Municipal Council is not like the other municipal councils. I'm not trying to say this as an insult. It is the truth.
Meanwhile, the Sarvajana Balaya says that the name of the mayoral candidate proposed on behalf of the opposition has not yet been communicated to their party. Professor Channa Jayasumana said that the Sarvajana Balaya does not believe that the individual who is reported to be the mayoral candidate proposed on behalf of the opposition has the capability to function in that capacity.
So far, they have not officially asked for our support. If they name a suitable candidate before tomorrow morning, they will talk to us. If that's the case, then knowing who he is crucial. We need someone strong enough to lead a powerful body like the Colombo Municipal Council, with the ability to negotiate with the opposition groups. Only such a person would have our support. If they neither seek our support nor put forward a suitable candidate, we will have to make a decision by tomorrow morning on how to proceed. We don't believe the person they've put forward so far has the capability to lead the Colombo Municipal Council.
The independent group number 2, which contested the Colombo Municipal Council under the football symbol and secured 1 seat in the local government election, has decided to extend its support to the National People's Power. The decision was made following a discussion held earlier today.
We are supporting the NPP. We've had successful talks with the President. We are committed to working for the people of Colombo and will fully support the NPP candidate, giving her a fair chance ahead.
ඡන්ද ව්‍යාපාරයට කලින්මත් කිව්වා කවුද නගරාධිපතිනි කියලා ඒ ස්ථාවරේ අපි තාම ඉන්නවා.
Even before the election, we announced who the mayor would be, and we stand firm on that. Our position has only grown stronger. Tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., we will see the new mayor. Right now, the majority are in talks with us, and we have no fear. Our confidence in victory is as certain as the sunrise tomorrow. The opposition has no chance. People of good conscience have already joined our side.
හෘද සාක්ෂියට එකඟ පිරිස් අපේ අත්වල බැඳගෙන අවසන්.
With your name, your unique talent, your phone number. To Sri Lanka's Got Talent PO Box 100 Ratmalana or WhatsApp us on 076 599 7788.
Strikes between Israel and Iran continued overnight as tensions between the two countries continue to escalate. A Sri Lankan woman in Batam, Israel suffered minor injuries during an explosion. US President Donald Trump, posting on social media, said we will have peace soon between Israel and Iran. Many calls are now taking place. Iran and Israel should make a deal, unquote. Now, what is the current state of the conflict between the two countries?
The situation between Israel and Iran continues to spiral out of control. Now, what happened during the past 48 hours? What is the situation like in the region? Now, the barrage of missiles and airstrikes between Israel and Iran entered its second day today. An Iranian official confirmed that a headquarters of Iran's Ministry of Defense was targeted in the central province of Isfahan. The Saharan oil deposit in Iran was also hit by an Israeli strike, among several other targets. Israel struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear missile and military complex early on Friday, deploying warplanes and drones previously smuggled into Iran to assault key facilities and kill top generals and scientists. Now, Israeli officials call the attack a preemptive strike aimed at deterring Iran's nuclear capabilities. Now, how did Iran retaliate against this attack from Israel? Iranian missiles struck a 10-story block of flats in Bat Yam, Israel, among several other targets. Iran continues to fire ballistic missiles at targets in Israel. Now, what is the current situation in the entire region? Rescue efforts in search of injured people under the debris are underway in Israel. Israel's National Emergency Service has reported that at least 10 people have been killed, with more than 100 people injured. The Israeli Defense Forces have issued an urgent warning to all Iranians, telling residents to leave the areas around military facilities. Foreign media reported that explosions were heard in Tehran, the capital of Iran, at about 2 p.m. Iranian time today, which is 4 p.m. Sri Lankan time. Now, the question on everybody's minds is, what will happen in the next 24 hours? Are the two countries ready to de-escalate? What is Iran saying? The Iranian foreign minister said the Israeli strikes on the offshore South Pars gas field with Iran, which Iran shares with Qatar, were a blatant aggression and a very dangerous act. Speaking at a news conference in Tehran, Iran's foreign minister said that if the aggression stops, Iran would also stop. Now, what will happen in the next 24 hours as far as Israel is concerned? What is Israel preparing to do? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened a meeting of his security cabinet in a secret underground bunker to discuss the ongoing confrontation with Iran. Now, in the midst of all of this conflict, all of this tension that's destabilizing the Middle East, what is the response of world leaders? Will this issue spill over into a global conflict? Now, the United Nations has urged both Israel and Iran to exercise maximum restraint and avoid at all cost a descent into deeper and wider regional conflict. What about the talks on the nuclear program between Iran and the US? Because the attack from Israel came against a backdrop where the United States and Iran were negotiating on a deal with regard to Iran's nuclear program. Now, the next round of Iran-United States nuclear negotiations in Oman was cancelled. Iran said the dialogue with the US over Tehran's nuclear program is meaningless after the Israeli strikes. Now, British troops have also been or British equipment have been deployed to the Middle East. Britain has deployed more RAF jets to the Middle East amid intense fighting between Israel and Iran. And this was confirmed by British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He said the military aircraft include Typhoons and air-to-air refuelers, which will be sent for contingency support across the region. Now, what is China saying about the conflict in the Middle East? China's permanent representative to the United Nations, Fu Kong, said at the UN Security Council's emergency meeting on the Middle East that China condemns Israel's violence on Iran's sovereignty, security and territorial integrity. They urged Israel to immediately cease all military action against Iran. How has France and Germany entered the fray with regard to the conflict that is now developing in the Middle East? German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul confirmed that Germany, France and Britain are ready to hold immediate talks with Iran over Tehran's nuclear program in an effort to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East. Now, he added that he hopes that Iran would accept the invitation for talks with these three countries. Now, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin have also discussed the conflict in the Middle East. US President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin held a phone call to discuss the escalating tensions in the West, Asia and ongoing Russia-Ukraine peace efforts as well. Both leaders agreed on the need to end the Israel-Iran conflict. US President Donald Trump expressed deep concern over the situation and emphasized the urgency of diplomatic solutions. Both leaders signaled openness to resuming negotiations on Iran's nuclear program, with US President Donald Trump stating that US negotiators are prepared to re-engage with their Iranian counterparts. Now, of course, the situation in Iran and Israel is extremely volatile, with many other countries in the region also now entering the fray as the conflict develops and further escalates. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, one Sri Lankan woman in Israel was injured. She suffered minor injuries, and another Sri Lankan woman who was in an area that was the subject of an attack from Iran has been moved to a safer location. We will continue to monitor the situation as far as the Iran-Israel conflict is concerned and bring you the details of how this conflict in the Middle East is affecting the rest of the world.
Newsfirst with the people.
This is how dreams became a reality last night on the biggest show of Sri Lanka, the Voice Sri Lanka Season 3 Grand Finale. A season packed with excitement, powerhouse vocals and pure talent came to a close as Imesh Sandeepa, representing Team Supun, clinched the crown of the Voice Sri Lanka Season 3. Let's now take a look at how the biggest show of Sri Lanka, the Voice Sri Lanka Season 3 Grand Finale, unfolded last night. A night that set a new and a fresh benchmark in Sri Lanka's reality television.
ඇත්තටම වොයිස් එක දෙන එක අවුරුදු දෙකකට කලින් ඩ්‍රීම් එකක් ටාගට් එකක් කියලා තිබ්බා. ජොබ් එකක්වත් කරේ නැත්. ලාස්ටේ වොයිස් එන්න ඕනින්දා ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරේ ෆෝකස් එක තියාගෙන මියුසික් කරා.
Voice Sri Lanka හිමිකාරයා බවට පත්වන්නේ ඉමේෂ් සන්දීපා!
Imesh is another dreamer, just like thousands of other young dreamers across this country. But he dared to chase his dream. The journey of those who win in life is never smooth. It's filled with setbacks, rejections, pain and sacrifice. But the ones who refuse to stop, they rise. Imesh is living proof of that. And last night, he proved it on an international stage. The Voice Sri Lanka Season 3, brought to life by Sirasa TV and Stein Studios, was launched with a bold vision to build a stage for Sri Lankan youth with dreams of making it to the global spotlight. The grand finale of The Voice Sri Lanka Season 3 took place last night at Stein Studios Ratmalana, delivering an unforgettable spectacle for audiences worldwide.
This is the biggest show in Sri Lanka, the Voice Sri Lanka Grand Finale.
Once again, Sirasa TV reaffirmed its status as a pioneer in reality entertainment, gifting Sri Lankans the biggest show in Sri Lanka. It was a night with artistry met ambition. Government officials and diplomats were among those present in the vibrant audience that gathered at the Stein Studios Ratmalana to witness the final showdown. Notable attendees included the High Commissioner of New Zealand to Sri Lanka, the High Commissioner of South Africa to Sri Lanka, First Secretary Politics of the Indian High Commission to Sri Lanka, Second Secretary Politics to the High Commission of South Africa in Sri Lanka, and the Ambassador of Turkey to Sri Lanka. From thousands of hopefuls, 4 exceptional finalists emerged, each mentored by one of the show's iconic coaches.
Beg you to put your loving hand out, baby.
Isaac Timothy, representing Coach Raini Charuka. Imesh Sandeepa, representing Coach Supun Pereira. Rasindu Mihisara, representing Coach Mihindu Aryaratna. And Lisara Fernando, representing Coach Hiroshi Jayasena.
She's into superstitions, black cats and voodoo dolls. I feel a premonition. Wake me up inside. Wake up. Wake me.
In a show that has changed the landscape of reality television in Sri Lanka, these 4 finalists delivered unforgettable moments that will echo in hearts for years to come. By now, the top 4 finalists of The Voice Sri Lanka Season 3, along with other standout contestants, need no introduction. The entire nation knows their names, their voices and their journeys. Last night, the dreams of Sri Lankan youth lit up in full color on this international stage. Each of them walked away with more than applause. They received recognition, awards, and the acknowledgement that their voices truly mattered. At the grand finale of The Voice Sri Lanka Season 3 last night, Sirasa TV took great pride, humbly yet wholeheartedly, in having provided a platform for dreamers to rise. Our hearts are filled with a sense of humble pride knowing that we played a part in helping turn dreams into reality. To every young person who dared to dream, we were honored to walk beside you on that journey.
Well, those were the final moments of Voice Sri Lanka Season 3, and we congratulate the winner. Moving on to more local news, Dr. Geeta Gopinath, the first Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, arrived in Sri Lanka this morning for a two-day official visit.
Dr. Geeta Gopinath's visit is significant as it marks the first time since 2005 that a serving First Deputy Managing Director or the FDMD of the IMF visits Sri Lanka. During this visit, Dr. Gopinath will be the guest of honour at the conference on Sri Lanka's road to recovery, debt and governance, co-hosted by the Ministry of Finance, Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the IMF, scheduled to be held tomorrow. At the midpoint of the IMF-supported reform programme, the conference aims to reflect upon the lessons learned from Sri Lanka's experience in restoring macroeconomic stability, implementing debt restructuring and governance reforms, and to focus on the challenges ahead. Additionally, FDMD is expected to hold bilateral discussions with the Sri Lankan authorities and several key stakeholders on the IMF's engagement with Sri Lanka.
You're with Newsfirst, and let's take a look at Crime Watch now.
A 38-year-old woman was shot dead by her husband on Balagas Ara Road in Madagama following a domestic dispute. Police say the suspect used a locally manufactured firearm. According to police, officers who arrived at the scene found a woman lying on the road, critically injured. She was pronounced dead upon admission to hospital. Gunshots were fired at a house in Kalubovila early this morning. According to police, two unidentified men on a motorcycle opened fire at the gate before fleeing the scene. CCTV footage captured the suspects firing 6 rounds from a revolver. However, no injuries were reported. Police suspect the incident may be linked to a financial dispute. A van linked to the abduction and murder of a 64-year-old man in Ulhitiava, Venapur South, was found abandoned near a school along the Peradeniya Kandy Old Road today. Kandy police, acting on a tip-off, discovered the vehicle during a search operation. The victim, a resident of Mudukatuwa Maravila, had worked as a security officer at the house in question. CCTV footage shows the van being hijacked.
Sunil Handunethi, the Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development and a chairman of the Mathura District Coordinating Committee, has called upon authorities to implement stringent measures to curb the trafficking of narcotics, particularly that which targets school children in the southern province.
An in-depth discussion took place at the Mathura District Coordination Committee regarding the drug trafficking targeting school students in the southern province.
We need to take a proper decision on this matter. It's not an issue limited to Deniaya. It affects many Sri Lankans across the country. That's why it deserves special attention. This is a problem that should be discussed by the ministers in the cabinet. Nevertheless, the commissioner can make decisions regarding daily activities and conclude the matter within the province. However, if raids have already been conducted, the license can be cancelled based on the number of raids carried out.
In addition, decisions have been made on a number of issues such as flood control in the Mathura district and the impact of microfinance institutions in the area.
This year, we were able to prevent areas like Akurasa and Mathura from flooding since we had started the Nilvala diversion project. We also identified areas where illegal drug trafficking takes place among children. We also spoke to the DIG about the steps we should take regarding this matter. There is also another major issue in Mathura that has existed for a long time: illegal constructions. There have been restaurants constructed in the middle of the Nilvala River. There are no legal proceedings or documents on who gave permission for such constructions. We built the Gangabada Park for the public, but questions have now been raised about the legality of the park.
Piyumal Sithum, who was awarded the first runner-up at the Manhunt International competition held in Thailand, arrived in the country this morning. France emerged as the winner of the competition, which was held for the 23rd time.
The grand finale of the 23rd edition of the Manhunt International competition recently concluded in Bangkok. 35 charismatic young contestants from various countries participated in this competition. From the outset, Piyumal Sithum stood out for his exceptional talent. Piyumal won the swimwear digital winner title with his standout performance on the global stage. A warm Sri Lankan welcome awaited Piyumal Sithum today as he returned home. His wife, 2 children, and a welcome party that included Arjuna Senanayaka, the Sri Lankan director of the Manhunt competition, were all there to greet him.
I'm proud of representing my country in Manhunt International 2025. It is an incredible opportunity to take part in such an incredible pageant in worldwide, and I'm happy to share the stage with all my brothers, and I'm proudly standing here as the first runners-up in Manhunt International 2025.
The British Car Day, organised by the Classic Car Club of Ceylon, showcased a remarkable collection of vintage vehicles in Colombo today.
Hi guys, as you can see, there are a lot of classic British cars right here in Colombo. So we are here at the British Car Day here in Colombo, organized by the Classic Car Club of Ceylon. We saw a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion, a lot of history and heritage. So let's go and see.
Colombo was treated to a captivating collection of automotive history at the British Car Day, which featured a diverse array of cars, each with a rich story to tell.
So we are having the annual British Car Day. It's an event that we have from the Classic Car Club of Ceylon. We have a lot of classic cars in our club, but the British cars have a special place in our hearts, especially because of the colonial history and the rich heritage Sri Lanka has with British classics. Today I think we're having around 70 classic cars here, and we are having a parade around Colombo before finishing off at a hotel.
And this is what the car lovers had to say.
We have been having events, we have been having motor shows, and we have been having British Car Day. As you can see, every year there are more cars that were not running and cars that have been restored to almost showroom condition. So thanks to the club.
Our great-grandfathers and all used to admire these cars when it was owned by British planters. It's a good opportunity for younger generations to see these cars, and they know what it is because these are hardly used on the road day to day. So on an event like this only they can come and see these things.
These classic beauties were getting ready for a drive around Colombo with the flag off done by the British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Andrew Patrick.
So, are you guys ready for a classy drive?
Of course, they should be.
Alright then. 3,
2,
1. Let's go!
Sri Lanka rolled out the red carpet today for a star-studded arrival. Renowned Indian actor Mohanlal landed on the island with his film crew set to begin an exciting new cinematic venture.
This morning, the Manhunt International Airport buzzed with excitement as none other than Mohanlal Visatan and his film crew touched down. They are in Sri Lanka to kick off filming for an anticipated new movie slated for a multi-language release. The team is to remain in the country for 6 days. Mohanlal and his team were welcomed at the Manhunt Airport.
The story demands such kind of locations, and we found out that this is a very shooting friendly place, and we have a lot of actors, and this is a new location for us also. The story demands this kind of location, and after the shoot we found out it's a very friendly place to shoot movies, so we are bringing more movies to Sri Lanka. We are planning to bring. It's a very friendly, shooting friendly place. Definitely a lot of films has to come, and it's a shooting friendly place.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.